I'm going to do something today I've never done before in over 30 years on the air. Something very personal. There sadly are so very many horrific stories of suffering and unspeakable crimes committed against the Jewish people and of course other people also. I'd like to tell you about one Jewish girl from Germany, Naomi Blumenfeld. She escaped to England on the Kinder transport in the very last minute, leaving behind her father, Paul Blumenfeld, who was a lawyer in Berlin. And also her younger brother, Richard. They could not escape, but they hoped to join Naomi in England. And they sent each other short and heart-rending notes through the Red Cross until the very last moment, until the Nazis murdered them. Richard was only a teenager when they separated him from his father, Paul. And they stood this terrified teenager beside a mass grave and they shot him. These were beautiful and innocent people, and like Anna Frank, Richard had similar dreams for the future. Naomi survived the Holocaust, but her pain and suffering over the loss of her family has haunted her throughout her life. After World War II, Naomi met another German Jew who survived the war, a young man who also escaped to England before the war, losing his entire family back in Germany. This young man joined the British Army and fought against Nazi Germany, and later he met Naomi in London in 1946, after the war, and he married her. Naomi and Kurt Peritz, my mother and father. With us now is Alan Dershowitz. Alan, great to be back with you.
My pleasure, thank you.
Alan, our subject matter for today is not necessarily a happy one, but an essential one, that of Holocaust remembrance. I'd like to ask you, why is it essential for neither Jew nor Gentile to be permitted to forget the facts, the history, the atrocities perpetrated by Nazi Germany, not only against Jews, but other people as well?
I think the answer to that lies in the fact that there are so many people that are trying to erase the Holocaust. The enemies of decency, the enemies of Judaism, the enemies of Israel are determined to erase the Holocaust, to make it into fake history and fake news. It's a tactic, and it's a very well-funded tactic. Today there are institutes, they're not really institutes, they're phony. There are publications, journals, there are websites, there are news flashes, all designed to deny the existence of the Holocaust, or to say that the Holocaust was invented by the Jews in order to help them repress the Palestinians or help them promote financial gain. It has become one of the most powerful forms of anti-Semitism today, and it comes from the left and the right alike. Robert Forson claims to be a person of the right. Gilad Atzmon is a person of the left who claims that the Holocaust either didn't occur or was exaggerated. So one important reason for keeping memory alive is because our enemies are trying to destroy memory. But even if we didn't have memories, how could one ever forget the most devastating aspect of modern history, the entire attempt to destroy a complete people? And I hate to say this, but it succeeded in one respect. Eastern European Jewry, which is one of the great cultures of the world, it was a culture of Yiddish, a culture of philosophy, of music, of art. Every aspect of culture existed in Eastern Europe. The 3 million Jews of Poland, the 3 million additional Jews of Romania, of Latvia, Lithuania, Austria, Germany, France, all over the world of Eastern Europe, Russia, the Ukraine. That culture has been forever destroyed. The genocide, in some ways, succeeded. Now, the Jews are strong people. The remnants of the Holocaust survived, became, many of them, very successful, helped to build Israel, helped to create Zionism, helped to build Russia, helped to build the Soviet Union, helped to rebuild many parts of Eastern Europe. But the devastating tragedy that occurred, and every Jew has a personal story. I just was in Poland and went to the small town that my grandparents came from, the town of Pilsna, just south east of Krakow, near Rzeszów, and discovered what happened to two of my teenage cousins, who were approximately my age, just a little older than me. 15-year-old girl was beautiful, and she was taken as a sex slave and then murdered. And her brother was taken and worked in Auschwitz-Birkenau as a secretary and then was killed, of course. And so many of my own family and so many people of so many other families, how could we ever forget? We must never allow anybody to forget. We're losing survivors. We lost Elie Wiesel, who was the great, great man of memory, who taught us. And we must continue in the memory of those who died to make sure everybody remembers and that we never repeat this tragedy.
How is it that Germany, a country of such great culture, science, art, and so forth, is that same country that was able to tolerate and support such atrocity? My thought there is science, art, all of this, literature and everything is worthless if not accompanied by a sense of moral responsibility. What are your thoughts on that? No,
I completely agree with that. And the worst part of Germany is that, sure, you can have a culture, a country of culture, a country of Bach and Beethoven, a country of so many great artists, but they're always in a minority. And you might say, well, it was the uncultured who became the Nazis. Now, that's not true. The Nazis included the most cultured among them, great philosophers like Martin Heidegger, who became a Nazi, great conductors of the symphony, artists of every kind became Nazis. So it's not only that a country that included great culture became the beasts of the planet, but many of the most cultured people became accessories to those beasts. And then people became accessories to the accessories. People who supported and tried to vindicate them. People like Gertrude Stein, who became an accessory and a collaborator to the Nazis. There are others one could name as well, Jews and non-Jews alike, who became defenders and supporters. It's inexplicable, but it reminds us that culture is no guarantee of decency and of humanity. And so what happened in Nazi Germany in the 1930s could happen anywhere in the world. That's the message of the Shoah.
I'm the son of Holocaust survivors, and I was noting what you were saying about those who deny the Holocaust. Why on earth would they be motivated to do so?
Holocaust deniers are motivated by a variety of evil motives. There's no such thing as a well-intentioned Holocaust denier, and every Holocaust denier at his or her core is a bigot and an anti-Semite. You can't deny the Holocaust out of historical reasons or empirical reasons or rational basis. You have to have a motive. And the motive is often to help delegitimate Israel. The argument is Israel was built on the ashes of the Holocaust. The Holocaust didn't occur. Israel is illegitimate. Israel uses the Holocaust as a bludgeon against the Palestinians. Israel uses the Holocaust as a way of getting reparations from Germany, of making people rich. Those are the arguments. But at its core, to be a Holocaust denier, you have to be an evil human being. You have to be somebody who wants to hurt innocent people, who gets pleasure out of bringing pain. Remember, there are many survivors today who are still alive, who remember their brothers and their sisters who were murdered at Auschwitz. And to have somebody look them in the eye and say, it never happened, is such a cause of pain that it can't be motivated by anything other than the most horrible evil. And so Holocaust deniers are evil people. Nobody should ever accept Holocaust denial as a legitimate historical quest or enterprise. Why would one choose that enterprise? You have to ask yourself that question, and the answer is always going to be an answer based on evil.
You mentioned a movie that's being released on this topic. Share with our audience what you told me earlier about this movie.
There's a great movie. It's called Denial, and it's about a trial that took place in England a few years ago. What happened is David Irving, who clearly himself has dabbled in Holocaust denial and who glorified Hitler and who was an amateur historian, was written about by a great American scholar named Deborah Lipstadt, who is a professor at Emory University. I've known Deborah for years and years and years. She's a brilliant, objective scholar. And she wrote a book on Holocaust denial. And in the book, she included David Irving, who then sued her. She didn't want a lawsuit. She didn't want to see the Holocaust put on trial in a British courtroom. Who knows what the outcome could be? Who knows what the judge's bias might be? Who knows if there were a jury? There wasn't a jury in this case. What prejudices they might bring to the deliberations. So you never put the Holocaust on trial voluntarily. She had no choice. She was sued. She had to defend. She couldn't settle the case. How do you settle on behalf of 6 million, as I think she says in the film? What do I settle? Do I say it was only 2 million or 3 million? You can't settle. So she had to fight. Fortunately, she got several of Great Britain's greatest lawyers, Anthony Julius and many others, James Lipstadt and others, to form a team to defend her. And she won an overwhelming victory. More importantly, David Irving lost and has been certified by the courts essentially as a liar and as a falsifier of history. So it's a great film. Everybody should see it. It's also a dramatic film with great actors and an enduring piece of cinematographic art.
This is such an essential subject. I'd like us to continue, but we have to pause for these commercial messages. We'll be right back.
Life Extension Foundation was established in 1977 and is now the world's largest consumer-based anti-aging organization. Life-saving achievements taken for granted today were pioneered by Life Extension Foundation decades ago. Life Extension is currently funding $10 million a year in research on significantly extending a healthy human lifespan. Diseases that once plagued humanity have largely been eradicated by scientific innovation. 3 leading causes of death in 1900 are no longer leading killers today. Smallpox killed millions before it was eliminated in 1979. Life Extension funds research to fight biological aging so that it also will become a relic of the past. To learn more, log on to lifeextensionfoundation.org.
Anywhere else, this would be a vacation on the Mediterranean. But here, it's also a journey into history. From modern Tel Aviv to the ancient cities of Herod, the Romans, the Crusaders. The history of Israel lives in all of us. Come find the Israel in you.
We're back with Alan Dershowitz. Alan, on a more positive note, you've written so many books.
Well, I love writing, and I retired from teaching 2 years ago, which gives me much more time to write. I wrote a book about the election with an ironic title called Electile Dysfunction, of a guide for unaroused voters. I actually predicted that Trump might very well win the election because I looked at Brexit and I looked at what's going on in Europe. And I'm going to continue to write about the trends that are going on around the world toward extremism on both sides. I think we're living through a very dangerous era where the right is going more right, the left is turning more left. The Democratic Party is in danger of being taken over by hard leftists who are not tolerant of other people's views, the kinds of people that today on campus prevent Jews and Israeli speakers from speaking on campus. They don't want to hear opposing points of view. So I'm very worried about the growth of the extreme right in Europe, the extreme left in Europe, its movement toward the United States. And so I'm going to be writing quite a bit about that trend. I always write. I write 2 or 3 columns a week. I love writing. It, to me, sitting alone in my office, I write everything by hand. I scribble, and then my secretary types it, and I put it through a second draft. For me, writing is keeping me young.
And speaking of books, A Case for Israel, you're rewriting it, I understand.
Well, it's now many years old. It's 15 years old. The case for Israel has grown stronger. Israel's enemies have grown more arrogant and filled with more and more lies. So I need to bring it up to date. The book has been published now in many, many countries around the world. It's being published soon in China, published in Hungary, in Spain. It has become an important kind of working document for young people on college campuses. So I want to bring it up to date. I also want to make sure it's an ebook and is on social network. I want to create tools for those who want to argue against BDS and argue against the delegitimation of Israel, to have academic tools with which to fight the enemies of Israel.
This is also very essential. Alan, it's an honor and pleasure to be with you, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be on with you. Thank you.
I'll be right back.
We'll now continue with the following report from Israel.
With us now is Consul General Lior Haiat. A pleasure and privilege to be with you here today,
Pleasure
sir.
is all mine. Thank you.
Interesting times we are experiencing is a phrase I'm using lately at the beginning of all of my interviews. But here we are in Miami, and you are the current Consul General here.
Exactly.
A unique position. Tell us about it.
Well, probably the best position for an Israeli diplomat in the world. I consider myself to be the luckiest Israeli diplomat alive, because I came here a year ago. I met an amazing Jewish community, very connected to Israel, maybe the most Zionist Jewish community in the US, with a huge Israeli community that also has Israel as part of its agenda. We have a lot of non-Jews that support Israel here, from evangelics and other Christians, and until the political level. So practically I couldn't ask for more. Israel is part of Florida supports Israel in a natural way, and my job is to keep it this way, and even find other audiences to bring them to Israel, to have Israel as part of their agenda, and to support Israel, obviously.
In general terms, do you feel that the current new administration is likely to be easier for Israel to cooperate and work with than the previous one?
I think we have a lot of new opportunities with the current new administration. Basically because we do see eye to eye with this administration on many things regarding the Israel, Middle East, and global politics. We consider the new administration to be to have very similar points of view regarding Iran, regarding our extreme Islamic terrorism, that it's basically our enemy, but it's also the enemy of the US, and if we work together we can defeat it. So I do think that we have an opportunity there. We have a lot of things that we see eye to eye on. There are other things that we don't yet. I think the best thing is that we have an open discussion with this administration, as we had with others as well in the past.
In general terms, Israel has made the desert bloom and would export flowers to Europe, oranges, and today more so high-tech than anything else.
Exactly.
How do you see the future?
Well, we are living the future. I've been to Spain a few years ago in a conference talking about Israeli technology, and one of the speakers there said, if you want to see how the world will live in 5 years, you have to come to Israel today, because what you see today on in the Israeli high-tech companies, the startups, you see what will be part of your day-to-day life technology in 5 to 10 years. We've just heard about an amazing deal that was signed between Intel International and Mobileye and the Israeli high-tech company, about $50 billion deal that was signed earlier today. And I think this is part of what the future will be like for Israel. We have to mention Israel is in a desert, and we used to have huge water problems till about 10 years ago. Today we export water to our neighbors, to the Palestinians and to the Jordanians. We export water technology to the US and to Europe. This is an amazing way of seeing how Israel has changed. It's not only that we are having an amazing reality today, that we are helping the rest of the world, and what happens today in Israel is the future of other parts of the world as well.
Quite miraculous. Israel lives in a very volatile neighborhood, a rough neighborhood, unfortunately, and has survived wars and has succeeded in making peace with Jordan and Egypt, and the whole Middle East could flourish in peace and cooperation. What are your thoughts with regard to the peace process?
I think that peace is the only option, and I really hope that the Palestinian people will find the right leaders to lead them towards peace, because without peace, it's not that we will suffer and they will suffer. We will suffer together, and peace will make this Middle East an amazing place for Israelis, for Palestinians, for Arab, Muslims, Christians. It's a matter of time. Maybe they are not mature enough as a people or as a society, but I'm very optimistic. As an Israeli, as a father, I really hope and believe that peace will be part of our future in the next few years.
Sir, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Anywhere else, this would be a vacation on the Mediterranean. But here, it's also a journey into history. From modern Tel Aviv to the ancient cities of Herod, the Romans, the Crusaders. The history of Israel lives in all of us. Come find the Israel in you.
Human age reversal. We may be there already. Human studies are now ready to begin to confirm meaningful reversal of pathological aging processes. These clinical trials aim to alter older humans so that they function as much younger individuals. Even modest success will result in a paradigm shift that will impart enormous societal benefits, such as sparing Medicare from insolvency. Life extension is not standing idle while 5,000 Americans die each day from age-related illnesses. Joining us are physician scientists who want to hurry up these technologies to keep people from aging to death. While life extension is pushing these projects forward, we need financial help to ensure these studies are carried through to fruition. You can support this research by making a tax-deductible donation to Life Extension Society. All donations will be used to fund age reversal research. Join us on this essential mission.
This concludes our special show on Israel. Thank you for being with us.